You say you love me, baby, said you believe in me. You say all the things a girl needs to know. You told me I'm the hat that completes your lot. If you're so happy, baby, why don't you show? It's nowhere near Halloween. I don't understand. Why are you wearing that mask? If we're so good, then why you look so sad? What you say is not what I see. My heart can't deny what you say with your eyes. I believe. I don't need words and your lies. What you say with your eyes. I believe. I tried to read your thoughts, tried hard to read your mind, but baby, like I fade, nothing is clear. But there's a silent noise that whistles so loud, like a train warning, knowing the wreck is near. I love your notes on the fridge, good morning kiss, the promise that we'll never part. Sounds good round the ear, but what lurks round your heart? What you say is not what I see. Heart can't deny. You say it with your eyes. I believe. I don't need words and your lies. You say it with your eyes. I believe. You're not happy, baby. Let's not pretend. All your words are words that have no meaning. You sound like a salesman reading a script that even he don't believe. What you say is not what I see. A heart can't deny. You say it with your eyes. I believe. I don't need words and your lies. You say it with your eyes. You say you love me, baby, but what you say I don't see in your eyes. You say it with your eyes. You say you're happy, baby, but when you're happy, it's clear in your eyes. You say it with your eyes. I believe. I don't need your words and your lies. What you say with your eyes. I believe.
Hey, she sending texts to my phone like you know I want you. So tell me, ain't you tryna slide though? I can be on your side of town in a minute, baby. Just give me a second, I got you. You got me on the gas, thinking about your ride, baby. I'll be right to crash, swerving side to side, like if I give you the keys, I might let you drive it. Ooh, you know I love the way you ride, it. Hold on, down 85, headed to the south side. Rolling up a swisher, keep a doppies on my right side. Listening to some music while we cranking up some good vibes. Yeah. Oh, baby. Hold on, yeah. Legendary nights in these legendary streets. I done had some hoes off any legendary sheets. Bang them up against the wall in the stall or back seat. I got stories I could tell, but I don't tell on the street. Shout it, I'ma run the game like a nigga supposed to run it. Keep your mouth closed, bro, that's how you keep them coming. Back for that good deed, back for that backstroke, back for that Shout it, you gotta know. The super, I ain't gon' never tell no lies to you. I don't know why they come as a surprise to you. Nothing like these suckers playing fly, nigga. It be your side of a side of a side, nigga. That mean that they the last that you gon' call when you need the maintenance man to come and knock down all your walls. Let me pause for a second to take this call. I think she want me to come and break her. She sent Texas to my phone like you know I want you. So tell me ain't you tryna slide though. I can be on your side of town in a minute, baby. Just give me a second, I got you. You got me on the gas, thinking about your vibe, baby. I'll be by the crash, swerving side to side, like if I give you the keys, I might let you drive it. Ooh, you know I love the way you ride, when you ride it. Hold on, cruising down 85, headed to the south side. Rolling up a swisher, keep a dappies on my right side. While we cranking up some good vibes, yeah. Oh, baby, hold on. Shawty texting me, say she can't get me out of head, though. Thinking about me while her dude beside her in the bed, yo. Reminiscing how she used to grab me by my dreads, and I fuck her like a horny nigga fresh out of the feds. He say, Super, can you come and give me love me long time? Tell me that you think of me, am I on your mind? Well, sometimes I be thinking about that ass, and then I be like, wish all the I'll pass. Cause shit be going down in the ATL streets, and niggas lose their mind by the ATL freaks. I'm talking north side, south side, shit don't never sleep. From the east side to the west side, the O's be on the creek. But I know better, so I do better. I need to focus more on chasing this cheddar. Get the bag first and ass last. But if she throw it to me, I might have to slide like an easy pass.
Your body say not to jump I don't chop before but still I come again. You don't need to call me girl, I'm on my way. No explanation but still I shall Ratata, repeat, baby you fry, you my baby. Ratata, repeat, baby you fry, Majo. Majo, 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 oh baby, oh care, majo, 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 oh baby, oh care, majo. Don't stop, bust it down on my love, yeah. Don't stop, this somebody give me courage. Don't stop, bust it down on my love, yeah. Don't stop, this somebody give me courage, yeah. I won't take no chance, yeah. I want you to walk to me. Your body catching fire, you mean a lot to me. Special feelings you give me anytime that you come around. Happiness kind of feeling, girl you always hold me down. Tete jo, majo, 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 oh baby, oh care, majo, 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 oh baby, oh care, majo. Don't stop, bust it down on my love.
Hey. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's been what we say, like 2 months since we've done this podcast. I've been traveling. I was in Texas for South by Southwest. I went home for a little bit. I know the last episode, I let y'all know I was just like, I needed a break. I needed a moment. And I took that, and we're coming back in full-fledged for April. Very excited. We're also going to be picking up on the Dare to Defy radio show over with Magnifica, so tune in with that tomorrow. As always, big shout out to Innerspace Orlando for being the studio and reason why the Run It Back podcast is so fucking cool. Yeah. We're gonna have a relatively quick episode. There's no my likes. All we've got is some music to review, a couple of updates, and a couple of like acquisition deal type stories. So yeah, let's get right into it. We have a lot of new additions to the Run It Back playlist and a lot of new stuff that's gonna be going into rotation on the radio. Starting out, Christian Viscara with a song called In My Head. I liked the journaling concept that you had in the intro of the song. I also like the sample. My challenge to you is to switch up your flows more and make things a little bit more dynamic. Yeah, that's usually one of my biggest things is like the content, the songwriting itself is good. You're just very monotone and we want to stay interested the whole time, you know? Okay. Next, we have Duo Moolah with a song called No Procrastination. This is also a music video that's linked in here if you guys want to check that out. The video is great quality, but it feels safe. And when I say that, there's not a lot of... I've just seen the video be done before. It's a safe option. You know that the shots are going to come out good. It's easy. It was probably, you know, not hard to pull together in terms of resources and stuff like that. That's what I mean. But yeah, but the song itself has a lot of potential. It definitely jumps, you know what I'm saying? And I like the style, the way that you rap. You're a very punchline-y type of person and your punchlines are good. But it's missing something. It feels like something, I don't know if it has to do with your production, if it has to do with the way that the song is mixed. But it has all the right ingredients. It's just, I don't know, something needs to pull everything together. What that is, I don't know. You're going to have to figure that out. The next song that we have is Christmas or Xmas by Mad Rock. And this reminded, like, I really feel like I was listening to a Yeet song when I was listening to this. And it's nice because I feel like Yeet is almost too repetitive with his music, that when you find artists that give you the same vibe, it's kind of like a gold mine. But yeah, I really liked it for that reason. This is like the best Christmas song ever. You can hear like the jingle bells and the different elements that do make it a holiday song, but the content of it has nothing to do with the holidays. But definitely my new favorite Christmas song. For sure. Next, we have Deja Vu from Zim. Shout out to Zim. He's been submitting for a minute now. Real dope artist. But this is like an American Afrobeat song. Zim, one thing about him, very polished, like top to bottom when it comes to the production, the mix, the songwriting, any visuals that he's doing. Everything is always very, the bar that he sets is very high. I love the melodies. There's great variation in the song. And I could hear it like in terms of sync and stuff in like a rom-com setting specifically. The next song that we have is Today by 17. So 17 is a cat that I've been seeing around a lot more as he's kind of integrated himself into the Free Yourself movement and the Free World movement with DJ Red Tables. And he has a song called Today that he submitted that is like a favorite amongst that crowd. It's a known song and it's a hit. It is for a good reason. It's very catchy and it's a feel-good song. A song that you could, it lifts your spirits. I could hear it, while you're in the car, living your life. But, like I said, a feel-good song. And in terms of like sync stuff, I could see this in an indie movie. I could also see this in different commercial settings, but it would have to be like a modern, like hip company. My thing for you 100%, you need to update your DSPs because you're getting some great play on the music that you have out. But I guarantee you're missing out on the conversion of fans by not having information on your profiles, not having things linked. So definitely just go into your DSP profiles, go into all of them, do a quick little revamp, because if Spotify isn't up to date, I doubt that anything else is. So yeah, go check that out. The next song that we have is called Fear and Loathing from Super Saiyan. And this is actually an exclusive that we got from Super Saiyan's A&R, I believe. So this is not yet out. We're just giving a little feedback before they move forward and hopefully turning you guys over. Maybe some of y'all will pay attention. This has a Black Balloon, Denzel Curry type of vibe. But I believe you're a white man, so there's some difference in... There's some difference there, but you know, that was the vibe that I was getting. My biggest thing with you is you're really monotone, and it's because of the lack of, you know, the flow and cadence that you have. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I've said this with a couple of the songs beforehand. The songwriting itself is good. The content is good. But you're just not giving us enough change for us to stay interested. I'm hearing the same exact flow. And it gets to a point where it's too repetitive. And I'm going to skip to the next song if that were in my playlist. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's my biggest thing for you. I like the mix. I like the branding that you guys are putting out so far, you know, of what I could see. So yeah, a couple things to tweak. I would take one of the choruses out. I would put a different verse in there or a bridge in there to really like stir some things up. I just need some difference, some variation. The next song that we have is called Milk Honey from Giovanni and Micah Taylor. Giovanni is another cat who, you know, is in the city, has been submitted to the podcast for a minute, and is a fucking hit maker. This is a great song. It starts off very strong with the sample chop and the intense verse from Micah. And Giovanni comes in with just like this smoothness and just beautiful melodies, super groovy. It has a really nice juxtaposition that still felt comfortable. Great variation in the production. That was one of the biggest things, just the ear candy, the ebbs and flows with everything and how it coincided with the songwriting was great. You both have really awesome, distinct voices, and you mixed yourself to the point that I could still hear the grit and I could still hear the personality. So it was perfect. This is a new addition to the Run It Back favorite playlist, and I will be playing you on the radio tomorrow. Next, bitch. Oh my God. Okay, so one of my girls, Gianna Sai, recently dropped a song called Silence. Go fucking stream it. It's on the playlist. We're gonna be playing on the radio tomorrow. I think I might be bringing her in to the radio tomorrow, getting a little interview, getting some pictures, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But this is just bad bitch music. If you've listened to Psy before, you know she has a lot of energy. She can rap her fucking ass off. But this, like I said, is some club music, bad bitch music, feel good music, confidence booster stuff. The mix on this is great. It's very catchy. It's very memorable. There's not a lot of change in flow, but there's enough change in your cadence and the way that you're delivering things that it's, you know, you're still keeping us engaged. And it's one of those songs that like you just get so caught up in the groove of it that it feels a lot shorter than it is. And that is a great thing because you know, time flies when you're having fun. But the last song that we are going to talk about is Dope from Mark Made. Mark Made is a local guy that I've just recently met. He has a board game. He was on like The Price is Right or something recently. Cool guy. Definitely very business oriented, has his shit together. And this song, Dope, is another addition to the Run It Back favorite playlist. And we're going to be playing you on the radio tomorrow. It's very catchy. There's a good mix. It's one of those like objectively good songs where the songwriting is good, the production is good, the mix is good. Like it just top to bottom was executed very well. Sorry about that. I could see this in so many different commercials. I could see it in reality TV. I could see it. It has a lot of commercial value to it. So I would definitely, if you haven't already started shopping that or putting that into libraries, that's for sure. Okay. we're going to talk about some industry updates. The main thing that we're going to talk about today that I'm going to take the most time up on is called the Restrict Act. So you guys have probably been seeing on your timelines all over the place about the TikTok ban. Maybe you've been seeing some of the congressional hearings that have been taking place and how absolutely disconnected our representatives are from reality. But, that's really not all it is. Obviously, a TikTok ban or restrictions on social media is going to play a lot into entertainment and the way that, we navigate now. We're in a place in the industry where we have turned the tables and kind of conceded to Web3 and the big bad internet bully. But not really, because it's made things, accessible, and that's the reason why we're seeing the shift that we are towards independence and The point of what I'm saying is that we have, as an industry, as a collective, as society, placed so much importance on social media and these different vehicles, and it's detrimental to the way that the industry survives now. So having that be threatened is a really big deal. So we need to stay up to date about it and know what the fuck's going on. So I read the act itself, okay? I fucking read it, so I don't want to hear anything. I read it from top to bottom. It's really not that long, actually. Anyways, I took a summary that I'm going to read a little excerpt from, and then we're going to go over to the bill itself, and I'm going to show you some stuff, okay? So the first, source that I'm using is something I want to point out. This is a bipartisan bill, meaning that it's support from both sides. This isn't something that there's a lot of infighting on. This is something that has been agreed upon on both parties that they want, okay? The first excerpt I'm going to read you is from the left side, okay? This is how they're phrasing things, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it as we move forward. Okay. Vendors from the U.S. and allied countries have supplied the world's information communications and technology for decades. In recent years, the global ICT supply chain has changed dramatically. A number of prominent foreign vendors, many subject to the control of autocratic and illiberal governments, have gained significant market share in a variety of internet infrastructure, online communications, and networked software markets. The growth prevalence of these untrusted vendors pose serious risks to the nation's economic and national security. The Restrict Act establishes a risk-based process tailored to the rapidly changing technology and threat environment by directing the Department of Commerce to identify and mitigate foreign threats to information and communications technology projects and services. That's a lot, and so I want to break down a couple of things and why I put this specifically in there. I think that it does a good job of breaking down to an extent, because obviously it's codified. They're not saying everything, so you have to read between the lines, right? Apparently, the way that they're framing it, I want to say, is in a fear-mongering way of, technology is rapidly advancing. We don't have all of the tools to make sure that information, data is not used by foreign adversaries, or, God forbid AI, turns into this, but, that fear-based, okay, we don't know what's gonna happen, so we need to have control, okay? What it's not saying, what it gets into when you actually read the bill, is what that means and what it allows it to do for social media companies and so on and so forth. So we're going to head over and it's going to explain more. The meat of this bill is in the 2nd, the 4th, and the 10th clause. Okay, so we're going to boop, 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 do, 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 do. All right. One moment as we... This is not going to be a pretty sight. This is not going to be appealing. And this is another thing, just to touch on it. This is not a political podcast, but if you look at how outdated this website, this is not easy to navigate. It's not user-friendly. This is not made for people to understand what's going on. Okay. So this is the bill. This is the Restrict Act. Boom. S686. Yeah, so let's see. Let's go. So definitions. The reason why I point this out as the meat is because there's going to be a lot of jargon if you do decide to read this. There's going to be a lot of jargon that you're going to be like, what does that mean? That you are going to want to refer to this. It's going to outline a couple of things. So one of the things that I want to talk about is what is a foreign adversary. So here are, the included foreign adversaries, but are not limited to. But firstly, what is a foreign adversary? A foreign government or regime determined by the secretary. So I'm going to break this down on each thing. When they're saying determined by and so on and so forth, it's establishing authority for the, authority over this topic. So I just want to plant the seed. It may not be a foreign adversary, but if the secretary says it's a foreign adversary, there's going to be action taken. What action is going to depend on the processes and so on and so forth, but the secretary has that power. But they have to have engaged in long-term patterns or serious instances of conduct significantly adverse to the national security of the United States or the security of safety of the United States persons. This is another thing where this is extremely vague. What are the significantly adverse to national security? Because, my opinions want to jump out so bad, but yeah, depending on what, our regime believes is adverse to national security is going to, decide what and who is affected and what actions are taken into, take place. Okay, Jesus. So some of the foreign adversaries that are named are the Republic of China, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the Russian Federation, and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela under the regime of Nicolas Maduro Moros. But yeah, so obviously a lot of buzzwords, a lot of buzz countries, I would say. Okay, so moving forward, I'm going to scroll down to section 4. So this, I say, is the meat because this is what we really care about. Addressing information and communications technology products and services holdings that pose undue or unacceptable risks. I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but essentially what this does is outline what exactly the procedure is in terms of deeming a social media or communications technology a foreign adversary or aiding in foreign adversaries, and what they can do about that. The basis that I just kind of want to put in here is the process of discovery, right? So how is the government going to go about finding out the information that they need or want in order to figure out if foreign adversaries are being communicated with, aided and abetted, through social media? How are they going to get that information? They're going to have access to all of it. That's the point of the Restrict Act, is to get access to all of your information. The Patriot Act, this is the Patriot Act revamped and on crack. That is the reason for this. It's just to put a ink mark on the fact that it's okay for, the government to go through our data, to go through our communications, to go through our photos, all of that stuff, and kind of do with that information with what they please to, deem us foreign adversaries, whatever they want to do. So yeah, I'm talking about this obviously because when it comes into, banning media communications apps and things like that, it's important to the entertainment industry. But this is a very serious topic, very serious bill that you should definitely look into. It's not going to be good for any of us. So call your state representatives. Woohoo! We're going to move on because it's getting a little nihilistic for me personally, internally. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about, some more industry-specific updates. The global recorded music market grew by 9% in 2022, driven by growth in paid subscription streaming, according to IFPI, the organization that represents the recorded music industry worldwide. Figures released today in IFPI's Global Music Report show local trade revenues for 2022 were $26.2 billion, US dollars. Subscription audio streaming revenues increased by 10.3% to $12.7 billion, and there were 589 million users of paid subscription accounts by the end of 2022. Total streaming grew by 11.5% to reach 17.5 billion, or 67% of total global recorded music revenues. There was growth in other areas too, with physical revenues remaining resilient with a 4% increase. That's good stuff. Just the industry at large is making more money. That's good, but we know who's making the money. Okay. In an extremely sad and regrettably not surprising development, a new study conducted and published by TuneCore and Believe, entitled "Be the Change: Gender Equality Study," revealed that 1 in 5 music industry workers experience sexual harassment and abuse in the workplace, while also underscoring what appears to be a legitimate threat to the transgender community in particular, something that has to raise concern for fans everywhere as the situation develops. The Be the Change study sample included 1,500 industry employees from a sprawling 109 countries, and included all levels of position, meaning content creators, artist managers, social media managers, and more. The split between men and women was 49% men and 45% women, while 6% of the participants identified as either non-binary or gender fluid. 20% were Gen Z, 49% were millennial, 23% were Gen X, and 8% were from the baby boomer generation. So I think a pretty good balance of folks to get data from if you're interested in learning more about that. I haven't mentioned it yet. There will be a document linked in the description of this video that has all the news links. It's a good jumping off page to learn more about any of the stuff that we talk about today. Moving on. Oh, okay. Labor's resounding victory in the New South Wales election is music to the ears of the domestic music industry, which is heralding a new era for a sector damaged by years of neglect. Incoming state premier Chris Minns and Minister for Music and Nighttime Economy John Graham had run a Fresh Start campaign which featured the music industry high on its agenda. In the weeks leading up to the March 25th election, the opposition Labour Party had laid out its funding pledge to the tune of $103 million and a multi-year plan to rebuild the music business. One that has been punished by Mother Nature, licensing regulations, and then a pandemic, during which government was either late to assist or entirely absent. So there is a victory for Wales and their local music industry. Oh, yeah, we don't want to. Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. Just a moment. Now. But yeah, that's a nice victory for Wales, for sure. It's always nice to have government action when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay. Downtown Music, the business and professional services division under Downtown Music Holdings, has announced the promotion of Emily Stevens to president of publishing. Then we have Warner Music Group is reducing its global workforce by around 270 roles. The news was announced to WMG staff on Wednesday morning, which was March 29th, in a memo from Warner Music Group CEO Robert Kinkle, obtained by MBW Music Business Worldwide. Kinkle writes that in his discussions with our leaders across the company, many of them came to the same conclusion, that to take advantage of the opportunities ahead of us, we need to make some hard choices in order to evolve. He added that this is consistent with the direction the company has made the tough decision to reduce its global workforce by approximately 270 people, or about 4%. So this is really interesting. I'm going to go over so I don't misquote. because this is not a Warner Music Group anomaly. Let's go. Yes, this announcement follows layoffs at a lot of different companies. So you have Downtown Music Holdings that we just talked about, is talking about downsizing most effectively roles within CD Baby, their publishing arm, Song Trust, and their music holdings division. Spotify in January said it's reducing their headcount by 6%. Utopia Music said that they're also wanting to make a number of layoffs. SiriusXM announced in March that they're reducing their headcount by 8%, which is almost 500 roles. Twitch announced that they're cutting more than 400 roles. Amazon, they're cutting 27,000 jobs. And Meta is cutting an additional 10,000 after cutting 13% of its global workforce in November. Yeah. People losing their jobs, man. People are losing their jobs. And it's crazy and it's sad, and it's going to result in a lot of talent moving throughout the industry. It's going to, I believe, result in the continuation of the strengthening of the independent sector, because I think that's where a lot of these folks are going to end up going if they don't leave music altogether. Because it's hard. That's a difficult situation. And if the other companies that you're looking to work for are also going through cuts right now, it's a difficult time to move forward, to get in, or to move around. So definitely a big deal. My heart goes out to you if you're at Warner, because you're probably stressing right now. You probably know what's going on at this point, but it's probably just a difficult time. The office is probably not a very cheery place at the moment. So my heart goes out to you, and yeah, we'll see kind of how that ends up. I hope to see the continuing of the strengthening of of the independent sector, but we'll see. All right. And then finally, in this section, before we move on, Governor Greg Abbott today announced that the city of Frisco, having completed the multi-step certification process, has been designated a music-friendly Texas certified community by the Texas Music Office. The Music-Friendly Texas program, which is the first in the nation since introduced in 2016, seeks to foster music business-related economic development and job creation in Texas cities and communities. So yeah, if you're in Texas, go check that out. That is a really cool development and resource. All right, we're closing up. We've got 4 stories left, and it's all about deals, acquisitions, and partnerships. So first up, we have Lady London. She just got signed to High Standards, which is a subsidiary of Def Jam Recordings. You most likely know her from her Pop Ya Shit freestyle. Next, we have, reported by Reuters, Hybe said in a filing that it plans to offload its entire 15.78% stake in SM for $564 billion. South Korea won after accepting a tender offer from Kakao. So yeah, bye. The former FTX auditor Armanino has announced it has acquired 2 music firms, Blue Sky Group and royalty compliance organization. Nashville-based Blue Sky Group and music rights royalty auditing firm Royalty Compliance Group will join Armanino effective yesterday. This will make Armanino one of the only business management groups in the world that will be able to offer the full slate of entertainment services. Wild babies, man. I'm just going to move forward because we're almost done. That can offer a full slate of entertainment services while allowing us to deepen and expand our reach into Nashville, which we view as extremely important for our growth goals, says Craig Manzino, partner at Armanino. All right, finally, y'all, Believe has acquired UK-born music publishing platform Centric. Paris-based Believe says that its acquisition of Centric acts as a first step for Believe in rolling out a global and comprehensive publishing business. If you don't know, Believe is the company that owns TuneCore, and Centric is TuneCore's publishing arm, so just kind of continuing to strengthen those relationships and obviously ownership. You know, all of that understanding mixing around and control. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. What is some updates? If you are tuning in and you're watching, I have a show tonight over at Lap Studios. Go check out my Instagram. It's gonna come right there. Yep, you'll see the flyer for that, so definitely go check that out. It's going to be a fun time tonight. We do have the next Dare and Defy Jam session coming up on April 7th, so don't miss that. I know Interspace has a whole bunch of events coming up, so definitely go check out their Instagram as well, right there, boom, and see what they have coming up. I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow, so yeah, if you want to submit music, I'm here. You can either send me a DM or send me an email at ari@dareanddefy.net with your song, either a YouTube or a Spotify link. Let me know anything else you want to know, link your social media, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. That's it. Bye.